We've had enough of you, the man, a younger boy, no romance has that. I was saying to be so rampant in Hollywood. What about the other ladies? In any case, today Mapp decided to dig up his boyfriend on and realize as a younger man. Some of these helpers aren't even of the same generation. Betray the lifeguard. The lifeguard is the story of a frustrated journalist. The lifeguard turned around. Once she falls into love with much younger teenager little Jason, the life's plot turns abruptly. What starts as an idea becomes a full-fledged affair. The lot of Jason's steely romance is ending abruptly, realizing that some of those events are not meant to be. The lifeguard has gone to make you want more. Murder 19. The English teacher. In this rom-com, Juna Aurora plays an English teacher in a small Pennsylvania town who has left her as an unexpected page. Our favorite student from years ago, the former star pupil Jason Sherwood, tabernacle Amadano, returns to town after a failed career as a playwright. Wanda can't stand the thought of Jason giving up on his dreams, so she decides to mount his play, random barren feelings. If you ever had a crush on your teacher, this one's for you. Murder 18. The Mother. Another is one of those many profound feelings about hitting our life's peak and suddenly having nothing to look forward to. Romatic is a middle-aged grandmother who lives with her husband, Toots, in Northern England. When Toots dies while their children are visiting a couple in London, Ray begins to feel a sense of isolation and falls into a deep depression. Ray takes refuge in the arms of Darren, played by Daniel Craig, a broad army man who is not only half her age and married, but also sleeps with her daughter, Paula. Anna May gives an understated performance as Ray, and as the enigmatic Darren, Daniel Craig is influential and convincing. That's not the best of what I know so far, yet this eyebrow raising my founders and on-force performances are an unusual premise. Number 17. I'm Out of Love. I Am Love is a cutting-edge melodrama. Her performance, Swinter has won us all over as normal. That is the way from the wealthy magnate, Tancred Adeki, who was to inherit his paternal fortune from his predecessors. Her stumbles upon her son-in-law's best friend, Antonio, a chef, and now quickly finds ways to right Antonio while slowly slipping away into an intimate physical relationship. Called as fascinating and tireless by many, the fail is like a breath of fresh air. Number 16. Burial. Khaled, the tyrant of the coincidence. Whoever's son is missing, presumably dead, and it sure takes the news with a much apparent emotion. And about the same time, just as she befriends Joe, played by Keoghan, a shiftless teenager living on the streets of a murder unsavory burial. She offers the bed, without the graph headline for the youngster before the relationship takes on a distinctly Oedipus complex. The two performances create a rock-solid center to this delicately handled immersion of love and grief. The film has the intensity, which creates its own tension. Murder 15. The Bad Darn. We couldn't leave out this 1988 highlight, starring Susan Sarandon of a gorgeous baseball beaver team, who each year takes our pick of players for the Darn Bulls. Western Iron, which is Broke, performed by none other than Tim Robbins. A man of science and others who had been a real-life couple right on the set. Then shot I did. Number 14. How still got her gun back. The less popular right 90s fella, Angela Bassett, plays an overworked, overstressed sound where all his streak was out of her priorities, and realizes what she wants in life after a steamy hookup with a 20 years younger hunk on a much-needed vacation. The movie, adapted by Tarek Nolan from her semi-autobiographical novel, is politically boundary-breaking in its positive portrayal of a May-September relationship between a younger man and an older woman. Number 13. Fine. Tom is about an 18-year-old naive boy who just graduated from high school. At a summer job, he is seduced by the 36-year-old single mother, Sana. Sana is drawn into a world of sensuality, and his acquaintance with Sana turns into an intense love affair which forces him to deal with his newly discovered sides. While watching the movie, you keep asking yourself, will he be able to question and revere his decisions as he discovers unknown sides of himself? The character's experiences and struggles feel quite realistic. So does the acting. Number 12. And why are they more here? while working on a writing project on the island of Ischia. The right woman, played by Bosworth, enters into an affair with a younger man. It's an idiotic relationship drama that makes the most of the luminous beauty of its star, their stunning locations, classical music score, and fashion sense, which should prompt viewers to immediately book vacation tickets to Italy, even if an rapper hooking his in insecure spouses. The intention is to make Italian neorealism as an affecting romance with a woman caught between two worlds, but bad early sticks the landing. You're about 11. 5 to 7. And Todd Loken, who we've frequently seen in the Star Trek films, that the central character of this film, directed by Victor Levin. 5 to 7 revolves around a streamlined young writer, Brian, who lives like NYC and writes up with a French middle-aged lady, Ariel, who has been married to a diplomat named Valerie with 2 kids. Both of them soon realize that they are attracted to each other. Ariel reveals that every day between 5 and 7 in the morning, herself and Asmod are going to an agreement, will allow to have an affair with that woman, if the affair confides within these time limits. 5 to 7 is one of those fouls which open your eyes to one of the various kind of complex relationships that exist around us. Number 10. The Piano Teacher. In Mikko Haneke's dark psychological thriller about a woman as it said a masochistic relationship with her younger student, type by Benoît Magimel, based on a controversial novel by Friedrich Jelinek, Isabel Hubert plays Erica Coffin, the piano professor at the Vienna Music Conservatory, who lives with her mother. The band, that's not easy to watch. Verse 9. The Raider. The Raider deals with a coming-of-age young man in the arms of a former concentration camp officer. Detergent, absorbent, and sensitively realized, Lerdizet's haunted performance distinguishes the fan as a cold, enigmatic, and existentially decimated human. The Raider is set on 2 different timelines, and is a beautifully flawed masterpiece that directly depicts an enigmatic relationship between a teenager and an older woman, now years later and now late to the courtroom and confront each other. Kate Winslet gives a performance of her lifetime and has deservedly been bestowed with an Academy Award for Best Actress in a leading role for her performance in the movie. The Impact, The Rebound. A 30-year-old Debussy attempts to create a new life in New York for her family as it embarks on a relationship with a much younger man, who is a 25-year-old good-looking babysitter. Sparks fly between the couple, with Saturday matters of the relationship progress. The Rebound follows a punk set named Sarah File as any other romantic comedy that comes before it. As Ada Jones does an adequate job as the cradle rebound businesswoman at her position. She shows up comfortable on the skin of her character. The movie has its moments, coming from the jester Bertha. Verder Senum, Secret Love, The Squid Bear, and Lillian Bonham. The Squid Bear falls IR for the 37-year-old man. As if this wouldn't be enough, the nature of different social classes, and she's bagged. Her subject matter seems to be interesting and fresh, demonstrating clearly what haircuts one of my goes rapidly for some of the greatest some social differences. The other sex, a body. It would definitely be allowed for most adults to come to dating like your best friend's son. That matches up the case for the characters of What's and Mate. About that is a very experimental storyline, composed of 2 other brothers and their sons, and incidentally, love and fall for each other's sons. In this adaptation of Darcy Esso's The Grandmothers. Period 5. Unfaithful. Perhaps one of the greatest flicks of Dan Lyon's career, it became infamous for mitigate and the love-making of the younger man. Unfaithful, as the name implies, is the tale of a married better with a young bookseller, an affection that soon comes in our proportion. A recent love tale which transforms into uncontrollable lust. My fact form is probably one of the best thrillers on this list, but definitely the one with a lot of heredity. Gardner Funner, in the House. Rubes says that the delicious tears of affection on eventually the creative process and the very nature of fiction, with its ability to conjure alternate minds and morph within identities for both writer and the viewer. It's charged with the same flavorful layer of dangerous sensuality and subversive humor that first put its French director writer, Moleman. A precocious student infiltrates a classmate's family and submits stories about it for a class. His teacher was shocked at first, It is quickly drawn onto and encompasses at the end of the story, even as it crosses the line onto dangerous territory. In certain aspects, the villa house has put inside the same positions of the characters. After a while, it seems to run out of places to go, but for an after returning time, it's a wickedly clever divertissement. Number 5. Rumps on a Scandal. Kate Blanchett's free-spirited art teacher, Shable Harp, sleeps with a 15-year-old student. But it's her friendship with a lousy co-worker that leads to her ending up arrested for the affair. You listen? Keep your outraged trusts a secret from Judi Dench. Rumps on a Scandal is an incredibly dynamic company in which Rowan succeeds, right to the end. Blanchett is brilliant as the Irish teacher realizes that all she's doing is wrong. But then the other one, beautifully played by Judi Dench, who rushes at her, is shocked at the extent of treachery. It's a sensual picture, but sometimes it's also scary. By the 10. Play of Arts. Anna, a successful lawyer and doting mother, places them with her family and cover at risk, but she embarks on an affair with her young stepson. Wes deftly presses eyewitness to fuel our curiosity of how far things are going to go and what the consequences can be. And when events turn much darker, the well-managed base has a certain sense of integrity wherein talent, even as shocking facets of Anne's character, are appeared. Number 1. The short fair about love. When I kiss asking your energies to portray the sheer tenderness of love here is simply beyond words. The film explores the relationship between a younger man and an older promiscuous woman who he spies on her from his window. She is not believe in love. I was way beyond the naivety of a teenager who thinks he's in love. It is only infatuated with her. Kieslowski eventually grows his story in the unexpected epiphany and random experiences through the younger man. Watch this lyrical and affecting tale, and you'll be moved to reconsider your own views on the subject. Moreover, it remains one of the best romantic films ever made. Yeah.